Good morning, everybody. It is Saturday morning, December 28th, 3 days after Christmas. I'm going to try this Rail Girl video again while I just talk about some revelations maybe that I've had happen lately and put some pieces together. And I want to ask you guys maybe what you know about it and if this makes sense. Oh, first thing, and this is not normal for me. I started watching the show called Evil. I think I started watching it because I liked the description and I've been watching. I'm like almost done with the second season, and I am finding that it's not super biased one way or the other. And I like that part, but I do believe this show has a lot of what's the word I want to use? They're dropping some bombs in this show. So I think the one thing that I want to talk about real quick is I remember when they were doing the political ads around the election. And one of the politicians was talking about some people were trying to stop IVF, in vitro fertilization. And I remember thinking at that time, why in the world would they be trying to stop IVF? That was the first time I'd ever heard of it. I didn't know if it had anything to do with, similar trying to stop abortions or what the evil people in the world were trying to do with in vitro. But that stuck in my mind and then it just kind of went out. So in the show Evil, it's coming out that some of the babies being born through in vitro fertilization are evil. And I'm thinking, maybe that is why the politicians were trying to stop that, because there are people that are doing bad things with the eggs from in vitro. And like it's kind of coming out in the show that parked or, like the frozen eggs that couples don't use, what's happening to them, and just like different stuff. So anyway, that's part of what I wanted to talk about, and then wrap in the fact that I think the last time I did a video, I was talking about I hurt my back and kind of realized or decided that probably I was packing a lot of trauma along with me. Part of it is from the last 4 years that we all went through. Part of it's with, the unexpected move a couple of years ago, and then the whole thing with the family last summer. So there's just been a lot of shit in my life that just has kind of packed into my cells. And probably a lot of us have ancestral stuff that we carry around with us. When your mom is pregnant, she passes on certain things to you, just like her mom did and everything. So, anyway, I started using the Bach flower therapy remedy, different things to help with shock and trauma and guilt and shame and all the things that I feel like probably have traumatized me over the years. And so I guess the way I would describe that is little bitty tiny molecules of high vibration that are coming from plants. Little bitty tiny molecules of high vibration coming from plants that we who will be trying to improve some things in our lives would be taking these and kind of booting out the trauma, the lower vibrational stuff in our cells, and lifting that out. I mean, these Bach therapies have been around since 1931. Yeah, 1930, something like that. And there's lots of other companies that have come along with different versions and stuff. So I feel like in the past when I have used it, I feel like it has helped. And so I'm doing a little bit deeper study on that. But anyway, so as I'm thinking about how these plant vibrations work, I also started thinking about the in vitro eggs that were frozen, and maybe them accumulating some negative vibrations from like the vibration of the freezer that they're held in or whatever. Because most of you watching this video know who Dr. Is it Emoto, the guy that froze water. And some water had good words on it, some water had bad words. The good words, when they froze, they were perfect, beautiful ice crystals. And when the water froze, the ice crystals with bad words, negative words, they were deformed. Why would that not be the same with human egg cells that have been frozen? And maybe they're vibrating from these refrigeration units and everything, as well as the potential of evil people adding stuff into these cells to bring about some negative, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of what that show is about, is like the IVF places. They're finding out a lot of these kids that were born have some very weird and bad tendencies. So along with that, now, and like when I say a lot of this is far-fetched, I'm just pulling some stuff together based on this show. That's why I'm like going, I feel like there's a lot of truth in this show, some disclosure that they're sharing with us. Some of it might be made up, some of it might not be made up. But this was another thing that kind of popped into my head. I don't know a whole lot about this. I just remember one of the mobile closings at my office talking about that there were kids out there that didn't use regular bathrooms, that they wanted to use like cat litter because they thought they were cats. And I remember that conversation with him because he was so appalled by that. And I remember saying, I don't have kids. I can't care about anything. I can't care about everything. My expertise is in this area over here. This is where I'm interested in. If, is saving the kids is where you're interested in, then do something about it. But I remember that conversation, and one of the girls in this show, who is an Invetro baby, when she sees herself in the mirror, she sees herself with a tail. And I'm thinking, is there a way that the evil people have gotten into these eggs pre-insemination or whatever, and put like negative DNA in them? So when people are born, and they're not normal, there's so many things that these evil people are doing to children and babies and everything that are making them ill, mentally ill, physically ill, all of the things that you can think of. I have to say, anything is possible. And the more that I get to know about like vibrational medicine, I think they figured it out as well. If Dr. Emoto could figure out that putting bad words on cells, or not cells, in water made like disformed cells or whatever, then, people that are trying to breed evil into the world, that makes sense to me. So if anybody knows anything more about that, like I said, I see a lot of stuff come in front of me. The politicians trying to stop the Invetro stuff was the first time I'd ever heard that. So now I'm watching this and I'm thinking, okay, maybe there is something to that. And honestly, it does make sense to me, just knowing what I know. And, there's a reason I have crystals in my Brita water filter, and, is to bring the vibrations of the water up higher. And, like I have all kinds of little weird things, what a lot of people would call weird, little strange things in my apartment to help bring up the vibrations. Crystals everywhere, crystals in my water, little Post-it notes that says, I am protected by the light day and night. You know, you name it. Anything I can think of that will help bring up my vibrations and keep out evil from my apartment and all of that, I do. So, what else do I want to talk about here? So I talked about the in vitro stuff. Again, you kind of have to have a little bit of a strong stomach to watch that show because it, I guess the best way to explain it is the three main characters in it. One is a priest, one is a psychiatrist or a psychologist, and one is the scientist. And he's the one that goes around debunking why somebody would be acting weird. You know, sometimes it's a chemical reaction and they can prove that. Sometimes they haven't been able to prove it. Prove it. Sometimes it is an exorcism that they do, and they're not being super friendly with the Catholic Church either. So that's why I'm like going, I think I like it because I don't feel like they are biased about anything in particular other than what is evil, what evil does, how they infiltrate into people's lives. It's a little supernatural. It's a little weird in places. I don't even know how to explain it, but it's good. And I view it more as a case study, I guess you could say. A learning tool, a history tool. They are talking a lot about like evil and how it passes down from generation to generation. I don't know. I'm learning a lot from this, and I just, like I said, I feel like there's a lot of truth to it. But I would put extra protection on as you watch it and when you go to bed, just to make sure that none of that infiltrates in. So anyway, what else is going on? I will say, after using these Bach flower therapies, my back improved very quickly after that. I've been taking several at a time, and when I put my lotion on in the morning, I put some of the Star of Bethlehem. That's the one that is for like shock and trauma and grief, and that's the main one when someone has super big issues that they are dealing with. And I put that in my lotion, and so I end up rubbing that all over me, as well as taking it in some droplets several times a day and drinking it in water or whatever. So if anybody is interested in doing any of that Bach flower therapy, iherb.com has really good specials right now, and I think they're probably clearing out a lot of their stuff for inventory at the end of the year, if I had to guess, because a lot of the prices and everything are slashed in half, and they've got like expedited shipping. So I've been using them instead of Amazon lately, because they're getting it here quick. The shipping is free and the prices are very good. So if you're interested, that's a good place to go for that. Let me think. Is there anything else that's been going on that's of importance? I think I covered everything. Like I said, I just wanted to talk about if anybody knew anything about the in vitro stuff, and has anybody ever heard anything about that? And wish you all a happy new year. I probably won't talk to you before then, but I hope you're all doing well. And if you have any thoughts about what I've said, please post it at the bottom. I am curious if you know anything, if what I am saying resonates, does it make sense to you, or am I totally whacked out of my mind? And if that's the case, then so be it. You know, your belief is whatever you believe it to be. Anyway, again, this is Rail Cow Girl. She has a ton of videos on YouTube, and I love watching these. They're very relaxing, and it's got like this humming vibration of the train as it goes down the tracks, and you get to see these beautiful views. I think this is one in Norway, and I've never been over there, but it's just looks beautiful over there. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and give me a shout out if you got anything for me. Talk to you later. Bye.